All right. My favorite Friday the 13th films in order. Yeah, my favorite Friday the 13th films in order. Trying to get my speech right. I did the Nightmare on Elm Street ones and the Chucky ones, so I decided to do the Jason ones. Number one, Jason Lives. I think Friday the 13th Part 6. What? Yeah, Jason Lives. This one was my all time favorite because I like Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis. Yeah, Tommy Jarvis. Okay, and the cool scene where Jason, he's now zombie Jason, and he killed. I like the part where he killed those those workers that were playing army or something. They were shooting people, shooting each other with paint guns, and Jason killed the meanest one while chopping his arm off, and chopping his arm off, or killing the guy with a machete, and he killed the nerd with the glasses, and that was a cool scene. Also like the scene where Court and his girlfriend, were doing it in the camper, and blast into the song "I'm a Teenage Frankenstein," and where Jason he kills Court's girlfriend. I forget. I always forget how to pronounce his name. Court or Cord. I'll say Court. Court's girlfriend, and kills Court while he was jamming to I'm a Teenage Frankenstein, and stabs the knife in Court's ear. I'm sorry. I'm messing this up. And while they were in the RV, that was a cool death scene. Number two, Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. This is my second favorite Jason film. I know some people might disagree with me, but we all have our other disagreements. Different opinions. That was the movie where what was her name? Tina. I think it was Tina. Yeah, Tina had the psychic powers years ago before when she was a little girl. She accidentally killed her father, but now she's. I love the part where she fights Jason. You know, especially when they were in the doctor, the psychiatrist. Sorry, the doctor's house. When they were at the psychologist's house. Terry Kaiser, who played that butthole doctor, who was in Weekend at Bernie's. Later in the movie, where Tina was fighting Jason with her psych ability powers, and she what was it, a rope or something, a cord, or was she used her powers to choke Jason out and tore his mask off. That was a cool scene. I like that scene. And my favorite character, the bitch, Melissa. I like how she got killed by Jason. There was some cool death scenes in there too. That was my second favorite Friday the 13th film. Number three, part five, A New Beginning. I think it's A New Beginning. Yeah. Now Jason isn't the killer in that one. Spoiler, but this was after Friday the 13th Part 4. That's where Tommy Jarvis was mental. I forget the actor who plays him, but it was Corey Feldman was in the movie, but he wasn't, the main star of the movie as Tommy Jarvis. That was the paramedic as Roy as Jason, because that kid killed his son, Joey, the fat guy who was eating the chocolate, and that guy who killed Joey was a psychopath. I mean, he was mean, and he had problems too. The guy who killed Joey, he played Suicide in Return of the Living Dead, Mark Ventura. That I always remember. But there was some cool death scenes. The scene where that waitress and her boyfriend, who were cokeheads, the boyfriend in the car got killed by Jason. That was a cool scene. And those two greasers, where the Roy as Jason, the paramedic, had that was it blowtorch, and yeah, and he put it in that guy's mouth. That was a cool killer scene, cool death scene. Another one with that crazy lady and her son Junior, and the guy on the motorcycle with Jason. Oh, not Jason. Roy as Jason cuts his head off and kills the mother. Yeah, that was a really cool movie. I know a lot of people probably don't like that movie because it doesn't have Jason in it, but still, it's one of my all-time favorites. Number 3 on the list. Okay, number 4, Friday the 13th Part 2. This is the first movie where we have Jason as the killer. He wasn't wearing his hockey mask. He was wearing that sackcloth. I always like that look better than the mask, but that's just me. A cool death scene where he killed a. I might get the names wrong. I'm sorry, but I'm not good at memorizing names in movies. Sandra and Jeff, the two boyfriend and girlfriend at the beginning of the movie, where their friend had their truck towed. That was towed. That was funny. While they were having sex, Jason had that that's I can't pronounce it right now. Let me see. That spike, whatever, and while they were on the bed having sex, he stabs both of them, and that it went right through him. That was cool. Oh yeah, the character Mark in the wheelchair. I know some people probably didn't like his character getting killed because he was in a wheelchair and all, but I mean, he wasn't. He just couldn't walk. He was smart and all. He wasn't really mentally handicapped, if you know what I mean. But Jason, stabs him in his face, and his wheelchair goes down those stairs. That was really both funny and kind of shocking at the same time. Mostly funny. What else happened in that movie that I like? Oh yeah, that's when Crazy Ralph got killed. I wish his character would have stayed at least in 2 or 3 more Friday the 13th films. When I was a kid, I really used to say that was Jason's biological father because he was crazy, but he was just there. He was just there in part 1 and part 2. I guess his character really didn't mean nothing to the Friday the 13th films, but still, I wish he could have lived longer. He was killed by Jason by choking him to death. It was just he tried to warn those kids not to stay at Camp Crystal Lake that long. Anyway, number five, number 5, Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. This one I always put at number 5. I put this topper than Friday the 13th Part 4. I like Part 4, but Part 3 I like better. With that character, Shelly, who likes to, mess with people's minds. I mean, he likes to play jokes as killing them. And those 3 bikers who got killed by Jason. That's the first time we see Jason with his hockey mask. What else? I like the scene where Shelly and his girlfriend was at that convenience store, and by accident, Shelly knocked over the guy's bikers, and they were trying to get him by hitting his car. Where was it? Shelly's car. It was the girl. The girl who lives. I can't remember her name. The girl who fights Jason at the end. Her boyfriend's car. And and Shelly gets his revenge by knocking. I forget, either trying to run him over or his bike over again, or the other guy's bike. But that was really hilarious. And the bikers come back trying to get their revenge by taking the gas out of their van or car. Yeah, van. But Jason kills them anyway. But still, it is so cool. And those 2 hippies, the guy hippie and his girlfriend, gets killed by Jason. Where Jason, does he kill him by electrocuting the hippie his face? I forget how the hippie guy dies, but okay, moving on. Number 6, Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. This one was okay. I don't put this on my top 5 list, but I like the movie. I know some people probably would put this on their top, add it to number 2 or number 3 on their favorite Friday the 13th list, but I put this on as number 6. That's where we have Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis. And Crispin Glover plays the guy that's trying to get laid with his friend. And I always love it when his friend calls him a dead fuck. And that overweight hippie girl who gets killed by Jason for doing nothing. She really didn't deserve to die, but like when those when they didn't pick her up while she was hitchhiking. That guy said, "Hey, lady, you got a sister?" And she had that sign where she turns around and tells him to, fuck you or something. Yeah, now she says, fuck you on the sign. That was funny. While she was eating the banana, Jason just slices her throat. The way Crispin Glover's character gets killed, when Jason, has that meat cleaver and hits him in his face. It was a lot of cool things that happened in that movie, especially at the end where Corey Feldman as Tommy shapes his head and knocks Jason's mask off of his face. Cool scene. Number 7, the original Friday the 13th, where Jason's mother was the killer. Hold on. Sorry, number 7, the original Friday the 13th, where Jason's mother was the killer, not Jason himself, even though at the end Jason does appear in the movie. Kevin Bacon was in that movie playing a character, Jack, I think, while he was lying in the bed. And Mrs. Voorhees takes a big knife and slices him through the bed, or cuts him while he was lying in the bed, and the knife comes out of his stomach. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing my words right. You know how my mind is, so please forgive me if you're watching this video. And that counselor who sort of looks like Weird Al, not really Weird Al, but he has a mustache and glasses and a little long hair. When he was talking to Mrs. Voorhees, he was out in the rain with that yellow coat. I always remember this scene. He says, "Hi, what are you doing out in this late weather," or something. And when he walks over, Mrs. Voorhees, you don't see it on screen or her face, but you see it when she stabs him, and he goes. That was a powerful scene, powerful. And at the end, where the character of Alice cuts off Jason's mother's head with the axe. And that was way before we found out Jason's mother was the killer. No, we knew that Jason's mother was the killer, where she gets out one of her knives and she says, "Look at what you did to him," to Alice. And later on, when she chops her head off with that axe, yeah, that was a memorable scene. Sorry, a memorable. You know what I mean. Number 8, Jason Goes Through Hell. Now, I really didn't watch a lot of this. It wasn't one of my all-time favorite Jason movies. This was when I think Paramount sold the Friday the 13th series to New Line. I can't remember, but this movie was made by New Line Cinema, not by Paramount like the previous films, like the other films. That was I like where Jason, you could kind of hear his monster growls while he was chasing that one FBI girl at the beginning of the movie. I always like that scene. I don't know why, but I really didn't watch this too much. That was where I know Jason was going from body to body, where this new demon soul or whatever, his soul, so he could try to live forever. I forget the main plot, but he's trying to get that girl and her baby, and that the black guy's got to save them. And at the end, something really cool happens at the end. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but that does lead to another movie. It's not on this list, though, but you probably know what I'm talking about if you ever saw the movie. Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. The last one, number 9, Jason Takes Manhattan. Let me try to say it again. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. That was my least Friday the 13th film, where Jason was on a ship. And it sounds cool with Jason being on a ship going to New York City, but it just wasn't my all-time favorite. I just remember the uncle who was doing a flashback scene. I always remember this, where the uncle was trying to teach his niece, when she was a little girl in the movie, trying to swim, and he threw her in the water, scared her with that Jason legend. And at the end, where Jason drowns, and you see him as a little boy. This time, not his deformed look, where a little boy with a regular little boy look with regular hair. You gotta see the movie to know what I'm talking about. But there's another scene in that movie where Jason takes his hockey mask off to scare those gang members. That was funny. Where Jason goes to New York, where that waitress when the couple was trying to call somebody for help, that waitress tells them, but there's no. The girl says, "Well, there's a maniac chasing us," and that waitress says, "Well, welcome to New York." And then Jason comes in that diner, just going crazy. That was a cool scene. But I'm about to end this video. That was my favorite to least favorite Friday the 13th films. That's all I'm gonna say. Have a good one.